is going on, my fellow movie nerds and geeks alike? Today we are continuing on our Giallo journey where we watch a ton of Italian Giallo movies and add them to our tier list that we've been going on. If you haven't been keeping up, I will link all our other videos where you can see how we got to where we are today. And you know what? See which ones line up for you, see how our tastes align. And if you don't know what a Giallo movie is, I'll throw up the definition for you right here. But before I begin, someone is coming out of retirement because he just has a few words to say. Well, 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 look who's come crawling back. I thought you retired.
Yes, it's me again. I brought you some movies, as usual. But the main reason I'm here and kinda coming out of retirement is a lot of you people out there think I am him. I would never wear that ridiculous mustache he used to wear. Thank God you cut it, by the way. I'm just here because, look, I'm the Giallo Killer. That's Bill.
Good point.
Let him talk about the movies.
Yeah.
I'm here to do the slicing and dicing. You never addressed the Suspiria Giallo allegations or talked about any of these American Giallo thrillers.
Good choices.
So I figured now would be a good time.
Why don't you get out there and be in more Giallo movies today? What's keeping you retired?
Oh, Bill. In order to get me out of retirement, I don't know, Argento would probably have to do something as good as Dark Glasses again. Or you know what? Get Sergio Martino back in the directing chair. Or even better yet, let's reanimate Lucio Fulci or Umberto Lenzi and bring them back from the dead and make them make another Giallo. Then I'll be unretired. Now get back to the review. You guys enjoy. Do a good job. I'm counting on you.
Thank you again to our black-gloved killer for stopping in. I appreciate him always popping in. But hey man, he had to prove a point. It's not me. First, let's address some of the movies he brought that I'm not going to dive into today. And that first one is Suspiria. Okay, is this Giallo-esque? Yes, absolutely. There's a mysterious killer going around this dance academy. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I'd say even top 5. At the end of the day, it's more of a supernatural, like, witch movie. And at the same time as Suspiria, while it is great, I just don't consider it a Giallo movie. And if you put it on a list as a Giallo movie, I wouldn't fight you on it. But for the sake of our list, I'm not going to say it's a Giallo movie. And in that same regard, you could include Inferno and The Mother of Tears, his other movies in his Three Mothers trilogy. They're just not Giallo movies to me, but if they are on your list as Giallo, I wouldn't fight you on it. Fucking fantastic movie though, one of my favorites of all time. Another one I just wanted to at least give mention to is William Friedkin's Cruising, starring Al Pacino. This involves like a murder mystery involving like a killer stalking gay men at nightclubs, and Pacino's like an undercover cop going to investigate. This is very Giallo-esque, almost like Hitchcocky thriller type vibe. Very, very Giallo-esque for sure. If you had this on your Giallo list, I wouldn't fight you on it either, but for the purposes of this list, I'm going to just say this is more of an American thriller. Great film though. And another director that I'd also throw into that category is Brian DePalma. We've recently been getting into DePalma's thrillers, mostly from the 80s, but these are very Giallo inspired, especially Dress to Kill, Body Double, and Blowout. These are more Alfred Hitchcock inspired than Giallo inspired, but there are a lot of elements in these films that are very Giallo-esque, so if you had them on your list, I wouldn't fight you on it either. But for the purposes of this list, these are just really awesome films that you should check out, but they're not going to be included in our tier list. Alright, and now to the movies we're actually throwing on our list.
Fucking finally.
First up is Dario Argento's 1993 film, Trauma. This stars his own daughter, Asia Argento. She plays a woman whose parents are murdered in the beginning of the film, and she enlists the help of a drug addict to help her try and solve the crime. This one falls into that category of Argento films of his later career that just like aren't very good. This one is also the only film Argento completely shot in the United States, and something about it just doesn't feel whole. Like, it doesn't feel like it has soul. I know a lot of people like it. I personally don't really care for it all that much, but this one does have some merit. This one has appearances from Piper Laurie, from Carrie, of course. It also has Brad Dourif in here, and like I mentioned, Asia Argento. The killer in this one uses a drill that has like razor wire attached to it that they drill and uses to decapitate people. Very sick. And just based on all the cameos of the people that are in this and like the killer's weaponry and all the kills and stuff, you'd think this is awesome. But it is really not. It just doesn't have soul. It doesn't feel like an Argento movie. There's not a lot of color or vibrancy here. The kills and stuff are cool. The red herrings are cool. The killer's a little predictable. But this one is going to go in the woof tier for me. It's not what I want from our Argento movie, you know what I mean? Like, he made such a name for himself early on that I think he had a lot to live up to. And this one, sadly, just does not live up to that. And next up is Dario Argento's The Card Player, another one of Dario Argento's later movies that a lot of people really do not like. This one involves a murderer who is kidnapping people and playing a virtual poker game with the police over the internet, and based on whether or not the police win, it determines whether or not he kills the people on this webcam on the internet. A lot of people don't like this movie, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think I have like a soft spot for like those early days of internet movies like Hackers and stuff. Like, I lived through it, so I kind of enjoy it. I think some of the detractors about this movie is like the soundtrack is just not that great. It almost sounds like you're constantly in a rave, and it gets so annoying. But it's shot really cool. It's very fun. The killer reveals a little predictable and ridiculous at the end. I'm talking about that train sequence where they're chained to the laptop and train tracks. But there's some cool characters, some great moments. I would say this one, I'd probably stick this one in meh, which, you know, isn't that bad. There's a lot of good movies in our meh tier. But this one's a lot of fun, even though people don't like it. I found enjoyment in it. And next up is Lucio Fulci's Cat in the Brain. This is another one of Fulci's later movies. This one is kind of fun. It's a little bizarre, but Fulci plays himself as Lucio Fulci, and he is just being driven mad from doing all these crazy movie splatterfests that he's been doing his whole life. So he starts having visions of like his old films, and all of a sudden there is a killer on the loose killing people in the ways that are in Lucio Fulci films. It's a lot of fun and very, very gory. And it's just really fun seeing Lucio Fulci get like a full credit in this. Like, he's not just a cameo, he is the main character. And the twists are a lot of fun. The gore is great, of course. The score is kind of a mishmash of like the Beyond score by Fabio Frizzi and all that. The twist is what kind of makes this one really funny for me, because it ends up being, spoiler alert, ends up being his therapist, and he's trying to blame Fulci and make it look like Fulci's doing all the murders. It's a lot of fun. And if you like Splatterfest, this one fulfills that. And to me, this is probably Lucio Fulci's last great movie. It is bizarre as all fuck, but Lucio Fulci kind of never disappoints for me. And it's kind of crazy that this late in his career, he kind of did a Giallo movie, you know? Because a lot of his later movies are just kind of Splatterfest. They're not Giallo, like, you know, say Don't Torture a Duckling. This one's gonna go in the meh tier alongside The Card Player. Didn't love it, but also, like, had a lot of fun with it. And it's certainly not terrible and certainly not his worst. And next up is The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. This one is directed by Emilio Miraglia. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, but he also did The Night Evelyn Comes Out of the Grave, which I really enjoyed. This is another, like, gothic type of giallo with some supernatural elements. It involves, like, a girl who thinks she accidentally killed her twin sister when they were kids, and now, in the present, someone has shown up wearing a red hooded cape that looks like the Red Queen, a mythical woman who comes and kills people, and she's convinced everyone around her is dying because of this crime she committed as a young girl. It's just a lot of fun. I kind of like enjoy like the gothic supernatural giallo movies because it adds like a little element to the red herrings that are going on, and just like the castle imagery. This one also has Giallo royalty Barbara Boucher in here. It's got a score by Bruno Nicolai, who just, oh my god, he always knocks it out of the park. The reveal in this one is super interesting and comes sort of out of left field. And just like seeing the killer not being just like your classic black gloved figure, but like a woman dressed in like a red cape It's almost like haunting and ghost-like, and I really, really enjoy that. There's a police inspector in this one, and like you know, in Giallo movies, the police inspectors are bumbling idiots. Well, in this one, he looks so much like Freddie Mercury that it almost makes it even funnier. So not only is he a bumbling idiot, he's a bumbling idiot that looks like Freddie Mercury. Just like the night Evelyn came out of the grave, this one is a lot of fun. That gothic supernatural Giallo is so much fun and adds new elements to this subgenre that just are awesome to me. This one's gonna go in the good tier for me. If you're looking for like a little different Giallo movie, this is certainly the one for you. And the imagery is just beautiful, especially if you're into like those old-timey gothic movies. The ending is just insane and crazy, like with the flooded basement. I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, this one's going in the good tier for sure. Alright, and the last film we're adding today is Lamberto Bava's Delirium, Photo of Gloria. I know it says Gioia, but in the English version, her name is Gloria. This one is awesome. Lamberto Bava just does not disappoint. I mean, A Blade in the Dark, Demons, this. This one involves Gloria, a woman who runs a kind of like Playboy-esque nude photography studio magazine thing, and there is a killer on the loose that is killing people and then posing their bodies in front of giant photos of Gloria and sending it to the magazine. It is very intense, very gory, just like Bava's movies always are. There's so much sleaze. There is so much boobage and just beautiful women in this one. It is insane. And there's this like weird element of surrealism where like a woman's head becomes like a giant eyeball. Another woman's head becomes like the head of a bee. It's bizarre and insane. It doesn't get fully fleshed out, but it is certainly a lot of fun to look at. The kills in this one are a lot of fun, and the element of taking photos next to nudie photos of beautiful Gloria adds like a cool element. And there's a lot of actors from like older Bava films in here. Like you'll notice a lot of people from Demons popping up in this one. And Dario Nicolodi from all the old Argento films. Argento's ex-lover is even in this one. The red herrings in this one are kind of crazy and all over the place. And you kind of don't really see where it's coming when you get the final reveal, but this one is awesome. To me, it is almost like a distant cousin to A Blade in the Dark, so if you really like A Blade in the Dark, I think you'll really enjoy Delirium. This one is a lot of fun, and I'm happy I finally own it thanks to Vinegar Syndrome. This one, if you like your sleazy 80s Giallo, this is right up your alley. This one is going right into the good tier for me. It is awesome. Definitely one of the better Gialli we watched over this past couple months. And I highly recommend it, especially if you like A Blade in the Dark and like a lot of 80s boobage. Alright guys, so that is our stack of Giallo films for this update to our tier list this go round. I hope you enjoyed our takes. Let me know what you thought about any of those movies, or if there's any Giallo films that maybe I should be looking at to add to our list. We love Giallo movies, so we're always looking to check out more, so please let any recommendations fly down in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for always watching these silly videos we do, and thank you to Mr. Giallo Killer for popping in once again. Hopefully we could get him on again soon. And Vicky will be back in a video shortly, I'm sure. And until the next video, you guys, I love you all. Adios.